Hey guys, it's Pastor Ian. Thank you for joining us once again for Epic Students Online. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you guys keep joining. Hey guys, it's Pastor Ian. Thank you for joining us once again for Epic Students Online. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you guys keep joining us week in and week out to be part of what God is doing through this. And I really hope and pray that you are touched and impacted by these services in some way, which of course you are, otherwise you wouldn't keep joining us. Hey, tonight, I know we probably don't have just students with us because tonight is Fine Arts Night. We are celebrating some of our students and the gifts and talents and abilities that God has given to them. And I could not be more excited to do that. But before we get there, a couple of quick announcements. First of all, tomorrow at 4 o'clock p.m., we have our high school Zoom call. We do this every week. If you are a high schooler who wants to jump on this Zoom call and you have not been getting texts and or Instagram messages from us inviting you to this Zoom call, please leave a comment for us and we will reach out to you and make sure that you get invited to this Zoom call tomorrow. But tomorrow at 4 o'clock, we're doing a Zoom call. It is a trivia contest. So if you missed the past couple weeks, come on back. If you've never been to one, jump on because you got a chance to win a $20 gift card tomorrow night through, I said 20, but I meant 10, my bad. But you have a chance to win a $10 gift card tomorrow at 4 o'clock p.m. with our trivia contest. All right. Also, next Wednesday, May 27th, is senior night. And we're working on some really cool things to honor our seniors. But one of those things is we've set up a website where you can go and leave a comment and let them know how proud you are of them, or just leave them some encouragement or thanks for the impact they've made in your life. Here's the deal. Normally we print out these gigantic greeting cards and pass them around for everybody to sign. But this year, obviously, we can't do that. So we've set up this website. The link is in the description of this video, as well as in the link tree on our Instagram bio. And so please take a few minutes to go. We've got 12 students who are part of the Epic Students family who are graduating this year. And so take some time to go and celebrate and recognize and congratulate our seniors with that link. And then finally, we've got a huge announcement at the end of this service, so make sure you stay tuned. We've got, when I say huge, I mean it is huge, a huge announcement at the end of this service. So make sure that you're staying with us till the end. All right, before we get into the fine arts stuff and show you just how talented some of our students are, I want to let you know that tonight is actually doubling as a fundraiser for Panama, our second campus in Panama. We have a campus in David, Panama. And right now, some of the things we normally do there on a weekly basis aren't able to happen because of the coronavirus and the COVID-19 pandemic and all that stuff. But we're still doing everything we can to raise funds and send support to those families. Many of them are dealing with poverty and hunger at this time, so we're trying to help in whatever way we can. And so because of that, tonight, Pastor Mark has wonderfully agreed to let us match every dollar that is donated to our Panama campus will be matched by Epicenter Church up to $1,000. So share this link, get some other people jumping on the video, watching with us. Donate. There's a link to donate in the description of this video, as well as in our Instagram bio. And so from now through Friday at 5 p.m., every dollar that's donated will be matched by Epicenter Church. So huge thank you to the students who participated in the video, in the service tonight, who submitted videos. Fine Arts, let me explain to you what Fine Arts is all about. I'm kind of getting on a roll here, but I'm really excited to share some of this stuff with you. Fine Arts is something that happens every year in the state of North Carolina, as well as the country. And the mission for Fine Arts is discover, develop, deploy, to discover students and the gifts and talents that God has given them, to develop those gifts and help students learn how to use those talents for God's glory, and then to deploy those students into the world to use these gifts, talents, and abilities to point others toward Jesus. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We've discovered so many talented students in our student ministry here at Epic Students and Epicenter Church. Many of those students were not able to submit videos tonight for one reason or another. But we've got some students who have submitted some awesome videos, and we're so honored and excited to celebrate them and to showcase the talent that God has given them. These are very humble individuals. They're not doing this to say, hey, look at me, look at me. They're doing it because they want to use the gifts and talents that God has given them for His glory and to point others toward Jesus. All right, so the fine arts has all kinds of categories: writing, preaching, singing, music, art, photography, dancing. There's something called human videos. There's children's lessons. There's all kinds of different things. All right, and we have students who are talented in almost all of those categories in our group. But tonight we're going to be showcasing students in the categories of art, photography, music, lead vocals, worship leading, and a short sermon. So we've got 6 different categories we're showcasing tonight. I believe 7 or 8 different students and 6 different categories that we're sharing with you. And so I'm excited, and we're actually going to kick things off with one of our female vocalists. So check out this video from Riley Hall, one of our seniors. She's accompanied on piano by her cousin Sarah. Check it out. Awesome, Riley. That was so great. Riley is also a very accomplished dancer. She did not have the space to record that video in time for today, but as I'll share with you later on in the video, we're going to actually have the opportunity for you to submit some of your videos and in your talents and gifts and abilities throughout the next several weeks. Even though you've missed the deadline for Fine Arts Live, we want to continue showcasing and celebrating you and continue letting the world know how awesome you are, but also giving you opportunities to use your talent for God's glory. So be on the lookout for Riley's dance video a few weeks from now. But thank you, Riley, for that. Next up, we're going to showcase another one of our seniors, Abigail Brakefield. And she submitted 2 different things in 2 different art categories. I'm not an artist, so I'm not going to try to explain it all to you, but you can let Abigail explain it to you a whole lot better than me. So check this out.
Hi, I'm Abigail Brakefield, and this is my alternative mixed media art piece. So I did an acrylic painting, and then I used real baby's breath that I air dried and then spray painted red for a 3D effect. And this is my 3D art piece, and my title for this piece is called Innocence Lost, and my inspiration for this art was from Schindler's List. So what I did is I printed out the music sheet from the movie, and then so what I did is I used wire, tin foil, masking tape to make the shape of the people, and then I just took the music sheet and did a paper mache. And then with the board is I took tissue paper and layered it on, and then did a coat of acrylic paint. And then I cut each and every individual butterfly out and layered them. And then cut every piece of paper out and wrapped it. And then the music that was my inspiration for this is playing in the background.
Hey, Abigail, listen, that was awesome, okay? I can't draw, I can't paint. I certainly could not use baby's breath in a painting. That sculpture was amazing. You are the coolest, and I am not jealous. I just think you're awesome. And here's the deal. We have lots of other students who are talented in art, okay? I could try to not shout them out, but I don't want to do that. I'm just going to say Braylon, Natalia, Dakota, Carlos, you're supposed to be painting some shoes and showcasing them. Man, you've got the goods. You need to show people. There's so many more people that are talented in art that my mind is currently blanking. So if I didn't mention you, it's not because I don't love you or think that you're awesome. It's because I'm getting old and I have forgotten who all is great at this stuff. Okay, so, but thank you, Abigail, for showcasing your art talent. And if you have some art pieces that you want to share, please record yourself, send them in. We'll showcase them on some of our future videos here on Epic Students Online. Hey, next, we're going to do 2 different categories, okay? One, we're going to go to another vocalist, and it's going to be Ashana Carr. She's going to be singing a portion of the song Reckless Love, and it's going to be great. And then after that, we're going to go to one of our middle schoolers, Luke Williams, and he's going to be playing a guitar solo for us, accompanied by a YouTube video, of course. He's going to be playing Sweet Child of Mine. So check it out, Ashana and Luke.
Hey guys, so my name is Ashana, and I will be singing Reckless Love. Don't mind how I look, because I just got off work, so I'm singing a chorus, by the way. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. That was it.
Hey guys, you are amazing. Ashana, that singing was great. Luke, you're so cool, man. I'm so proud of you. Thank you guys both for submitting that. Again, if you are a singer or a musician and you want to submit some videos for us to use in the future for like a fine arts corner on some of our Epic Student stuff, we want to celebrate you. We want to let people know how awesome you are. So send those videos in at any time. If you've got something, we'd love to see them. And another category that you can submit videos in is photography. We've got 2 students who have submitted some stuff for photography. One of them is one of our middle schoolers, Carson Roberts. She's got a video for you explaining her photos. And then Lori Savage, one of our 11th graders, she had submitted some photos that she took of one of her friends that she just wants to share with you because she's really proud of them, and she should be, because they're awesome. They both should be proud because they are really great photographers, far better than I could ever hope to be. So check out these photos from Carson and Lori.
This is a picture of a church in Harmony Hall Plantation, which is located in White Oak, North Carolina. This church still houses the original church pews and church bell, which is still operative. It was built in the 1760s and includes a one-room school that operated in Bladen County in the 19th century. I chose to do photography for my talent because it's one of my favorite things God has called me to do. This picture was taken by me on May 8th, 2020.
Hey, Carson and Lori, once again, thank you guys for submitting those photos. You guys are amazing. You are far better photographers than I could ever hope to be already, and I know you're only going to continue to grow. Once again, if you are talented in any of the areas you've seen so far, or even something else that loosely relates to art, we want to celebrate you. We want to share with people the talents and abilities that God has given you. And really, that's what tonight is all about. That's what Epic Students is all about, helping you understand the plan that God has created you for, and then setting you on the path towards following Him. That's why we do fine arts. That's why we do Epic Students, is we want to help students understand how amazing they are, and then help the world understand how amazing you are. But tonight, in addition to doing those things, we've also partnered with our Panama campus. And if you didn't hear at the beginning, Pastor Mark has graciously allowed us to match every dollar that's donated tonight up to $1,000. So every dollar that's donated, starting now all the way through 5 p.m. on Friday, every dollar that's donated up to $1,000, Epicenter Church will match, and all of that money will go straight towards our campus in David, Panama, to help students and families who are struggling with poverty and hunger and things like that during this difficult time. Hey, we've only got 2 categories left, and one of them is worship leading. Fine Arts has all kinds of different categories: solo worship leader, small worship team, large worship team. Next year, when we go to Fine Arts, we're going to take everybody. We're going to be in all 3 of those categories because we've got an amazing student worship team here at Epic Students. People I could not be more proud of. But one of those awesome leaders, one of those awesome team members, is going to perform a solo worship song for us tonight, and her name is Allison Dottie. So check it out.
Hey y'all, I just wanted to share this song with you. It's SOS by We the Kingdom, and it is very relevant to what we're going through with all of this pandemic stuff going around. So just take this song as a reminder that we'll get through this with God. So here we go. I've been blinded by insecurity. All the pain I feel could be the death of me. I'm surrounded by fear that won't let go. If there's a way out, someone let me know. I'm reaching out, one last plea. Is hope all gone? Somebody save me. SOS, I'm lost at sea. Is hope all gone? Somebody save me.
Allison, you are amazing and you are an inspiration to me. I once bought a guitar when I was 20-ish years old with the full intention of learning, and then it sat in my closet for 3 or 4 years before I sold it to somebody for like $50. Allison has been learning guitar. She's been working her butt off every single week trying to learn this and mastering because she's passionate about it. Just like all of these students, I don't want to single Allison out as the only hard worker, because all of the students you're seeing tonight are working very hard to cultivate the gifts and talents that God has given to them. And that's why we're doing this. That's why we're so proud of you. But again, Allie, just because I've always wanted to be able to play guitar and sing, and just to see you and the improvement that you've been making since your time with us began to where you are now, you're awesome. Hey, our last category of the night, our last category from Fine Arts Live. All right, we're going to go back to somebody we saw in the beginning, Abigail Brakefield, one of our seniors. She showed us some of her art, but now she's going to show us some of her preaching. Here's the deal. Abigail has a call on her life. She has been called into ministry. She knows that with every fiber of her being. She has been called into ministry to help spread the gospel and help change lives with the love of Jesus Christ. And one of those things that she believes that she's called to do, or eventually will be doing as part of that role, is preaching. And so it is my extreme honor. Like, I cannot put into words how excited and thankful and grateful and humbled I am that I get to present to you tonight, speaking to Epic students for the very first time, delivering a short sermon, because that's the category of what it is in fine arts. But this will not be the last time you hear from her here at Epic Students, but for the very first time delivering a message to us from God's Word. Please listen closely and welcome Abigail Brakefield.
And the title of my sermon is called Trust His Calling. Now, growing up, being a military brat, I was actually really lucky. Usually military families have to move around a lot, but I didn't have to go through that. For most of my life, I grew up in Colorado Springs, and me and my family absolutely loved it there. We had a nice house, we had a church that we were really involved in, and we had a lot of plans for the future. But that all changed about a year ago when my dad was told that we would have to move to Fayetteville, North Carolina. And I remember when we were told this, we were all absolutely devastated. And I remember I was actually really angry at God. I couldn't understand why he was letting this happen, and I couldn't understand the calling that he had for us. But my parents looked at me and told me that I just needed to trust in God and believe that he had a calling for us, and that someday I would understand why. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is because today I want to share a story about a man who was called to do something that he didn't want to do, and that man's name is Jonah. Now, Jonah was a prophet who loved to share the word of the Lord. But one day, the word of the Lord came to Jonah, and the Lord said, "Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it and its wicked ways." Now, when Jonah heard this, instead of trusting God, he decided to run from the Lord. Now, I can relate to Jonah on a personal level, because I remember when I was about 14, I was at a youth convention. And during worship, I felt the calling to go into ministry and become a pastor. Now, this absolutely terrified me. And instead of trusting in God, I decided to do what Jonah did, and I ran from it. Now, I didn't take quite as drastic measures as Jonah. You see, as Jonah was running from the Lord, he boarded a boat. And while the boat was at sea, a great storm came. Now, all of the crew members started to become scared, and so they started grabbing their cargo and throwing it overboard to prevent their boat from sinking. But the sea only started getting rougher and rougher. And so they eventually got onto their knees and started praying to their different gods for the storm to go away. But Jonah, on the other hand, went below deck and started to fall asleep. Now, eventually, the captain of the ship found Jonah sleeping and said, "What are you doing? Go pray to your God and hope that the storm will go away." And as Jonah went up top, all of the crew members got together and decided to cast lots to figure out who was responsible for the storm. Now, when they did this, the lot casted onto Jonah, and they all turned to Jonah and said, "Who are you, and who is your God?" And Jonah looked at them and said, "I am a Hebrew, and I worship the Lord God of the heavens, the sea, and the dry land." Now, when he said this, the crew members became absolutely terrified, and they said, "What can we do to stop this storm?" And Jonah looked at them and said, "Throw me overboard, and when you do this, the storm will surely calm." But instead of doing that, the men decided to start rowing the boat as hard as they could. But the sea only became rougher and rougher. And so eventually they cried out to the Lord and said, "Do not punish us for killing this innocent man, and please spare us." So they picked up Jonah and threw him overboard. And as soon as they did this, the storm immediately calmed down. And this terrified the men, so they made a vow to the Lord that day to follow him. Now for Jonah, on the other hand, when they threw him into the sea, a great big fish came and swallowed him up whole. Now for 3 days and 3 nights he was in the belly of the fish. And so he had plenty of time to think about what he had done. And so then he decided to pray to the Lord. And when the Lord heard Jonah's prayers, he commanded the fish to vomit him up onto the shore. And so when Jonah was finally onto the shore, the word of the Lord came to Jonah for a second time. And he said to Jonah, "Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it and its wicked ways." And Jonah did finally. And so for days he was in Nineveh preaching to the people. And eventually Jonah's preaching reached to the king. And when the king heard of Jonah's preaching, he decided to stop his wicked ways and to follow the Lord, and commanded his people to do the same. Now when the Lord saw this and saw that they were turning away from their wicked ways and started to turn to him, he decided to spare them and not punish them for what they had been doing. But when Jonah saw this, he became really angry. He couldn't understand why Jonah had spared them, because he saw them doing so many wicked things. But God decided to spare him, but he became angry and didn't understand why. Now you see, in a lot of ways, our thinking can be like Jonah's. You see, we could have our whole lives planned out for us and have this whole big picture for our lives planned out. But then God's calling could be something totally different. And we could get angry and think, nope, we're not going to do that because my plan is better than what you have. And when we think like that, we're actually pushing ourselves further away from the Lord, and without even realizing it sometimes. Or we could try and run from our calling, like what I did. For 2 years I ran from my calling, but then the Lord caught up to me, because he's not just going to sit there and let us run. He's going to catch up to us eventually. You see, when I was 16, the feeling came back of going into ministry. But this time, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't shake it away. And so then I finally told my pastor about what I had been feeling, and that I had felt like I had a calling to go into ministry. And so my pastor looked at me and said, "Okay, let us figure out if this is what your true calling is." So he had me preach in front of the youth group. He had me start praying for tithes and offering. And after I started doing these things, I started finding a love for it. And I realized that this truly was my calling. Was I afraid at first? Was it stepping out of my comfort zone? Did I think about running? Yes. Because when I was 14 and 16, I was shy, I was quiet, and the idea of me becoming a preacher absolutely terrified me. But because of what my pastor did, and because he helped me step out of my comfort zone, I realized that I found my love and found my calling. And you could be like me. You could be shy or awkward, and God calls you to become a preacher. Or you could have a big personality and God could call you to do something in the back, like being in sound or helping out with the media stuff. Or you could be a small town person who's lived in the same place your whole life and be called to become a missionary. Now you see, our calling is going to be unexpected, but it's our choice. Are we going to run from it like Jonah, or are we going to go after it? Because no matter what, God is going to keep coming after us. But keep on running from it, and you're just going to push yourselves further and further away from the Lord. Your calling can be scary sometimes. I know that for a fact. And you're going to have to step out of your comfort zone. But I also know that going after your calling and the feelings that after you go for it is absolutely amazing. It's going to be hard sometimes. God is going to put obstacles in your way. They're going to be hard. But do you want to be like Jonah and run from it? And God is going to send things like, sure, you're not going to get swallowed up by a big fish, but God is going to keep going after you, because God's not going to give up, because he has a plan for you. He had a plan for you before you were even born. So what I'm just saying to you guys is just to trust in the Lord and just believe in him and believe in your calling. Don't try and take charge of your own and think that your way is the right way, because it's not how it is. As soon as we become Christians and we give our life to God, we are saying that we will do whatever it takes. So just believe in him and trust in your calling. It's going to be a hard road. You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone, and and it's going to be unexpected. But just trust in the Lord. Don't be like Jonah.
Hey Abigail, thank you so much for that message, and I can specifically relate to your example that you gave of someone who lived their whole life in a small town, and then I wasn't called to be a missionary, but I was called to be a pastor here in a much, much larger, you guys may not think of it as a big city, but when you grow up in a town of 4,000 people, then a city of 300,000 people is the big city. And so many of the things that you were saying, insecurities, doubts, just stepping out of your comfort zone, having faith, just a great message for all of us, Abigail. But I want to if I can tack on to that just really quickly, some of you may not be called to any sort of ministry. You may not be called to be a missionary or a pastor or any of those things, but every single one of us, all of you listening, students, parents, relatives, anybody, you have a calling on your life. God created you for a very specific purpose. Ephesians 2:10 says, "For you are God's masterpiece, created to do the good works He planned for you long ago." And so, whether you're talented in the area, in any of the fine arts areas, or whether your talent and ability lies more in athletics or academics or video games or whatever you're good at, God wants to use the gifts, talents, abilities, and passions that you have in your life to help point others to Jesus. The number one call, you may grow up to be a dentist, a missionary, an astronaut, a fireman, a teacher, a factory worker, a plumber, any kind of career you could possibly imagine, but every single one of us has a calling to light up the darkness by showing others the light of God through the way we live. All right? So, and tonight, again, I just want to remind you a couple things before I get to our huge announcement. First, if you are talented in any of these areas, singing, dancing, music, writing, photography, art, any of that stuff, send us some videos. You missed the deadline for Fine Arts Live. That doesn't mean that we don't want to celebrate you and show the world how awesome you are, as well as give you opportunities to share your talents and glorify God with those talents, and even point people towards Jesus with your talents. So that's the first thing. We would love to we'd love to have you submit those videos at any point. You can send them to us on Instagram. If you have my number, you can send them to me there. If you want it, you can ask in the comments. I'll find a way to get it to you, okay? Secondly, tonight we've been talking about raising money for our Panama campus. Pastor Mark has said that Epicenter Church will match every dollar that is donated up to $1,000, which means that if by 5 p.m. this Friday $1,000 are donated, then $2,000 will be sent to our Epicenter Panama campus and to the families who live in the community that campus serves. So please consider sharing this video with others and asking them to donate as well. And then finally, before we head out of here tonight, a couple quick things. It's senior night next Wednesday. In the description of this video, along with the link to donate to Panama, is a link to fill out some message, to send out some messages to our seniors. We have 12 seniors graduating from Epic Students this year, and we want to send them out with a bang, even though they will still be part of the Epic Students family for a long time to come, and they'll be with us for the next couple months for sure. We want to celebrate them through sending some messages, and we're going to do that next Wednesday, but you can get a head start by sending those messages tonight or throughout the rest of the week. Again, that link is in the comment or in the description of this video, as well as in the link tree on our Instagram bio. And then finally, before we go, the huge announcement is this. With this week being Fine Arts Live, next week being senior night, the Wednesday after that, June 3rd, My Epic Summer returns. I could not be more excited about this. We've got some big things in the works. We still don't know when we'll be able to meet together in the building here on Wednesday nights. However, that does not mean that My Epic Summer is not going to happen. If you don't know what My Epic Summer is, it is a summer-long competition where you have chances to win points and prizes and all kinds of crazy stuff. We'll have lots more details next week. But June 3rd, Wednesday, June 3rd, this was Fine Arts. My Epic Summer is happening starting June 3rd all the way through July. I can't see, looks like July 29th or something like that on my calendar. If I got the date wrong, please forgive me. The calendar's really far away and I'm getting old. So we'll have out some more information about how to get points, how to be part of My Epic Summer, even while we're not in the building together. We've got some really cool ideas, some things that we're really excited about. Can't wait to share with you. But that's the huge news. My Epic Summer returning 2 weeks from today, June 3rd. Cannot wait. Tell all your friends. Let everybody know, because it's going to be awesome and a great way to connect together even when we're not together in the building. I want to thank you guys again for joining us tonight for Fine Arts Live. Don't forget, fill out those messages for our seniors. Donate to Panama if you can, even if it's just $1, because every dollar gets matched. I'm going to go donate some money right now, and My Big Summer, 2 weeks from today, June 3rd. Thank you guys. I love you. You're amazing. I cannot wait to see you soon. Hey guys, it's